ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Aron Ra Quits. No Mas. Flashback. June 17th, 2018. On June 17th, 2018, yours truly, George Lujack, engaged in a debate with atheist Aron Ra over the topic of Darwinian evolution. This video will highlight some excerpts of that exchange between myself and Aron Ra to be shown as a comparison to the Leonard Duran No Mas fight, along with some comic relief added. Then a brief basic biology and scripture lesson on kinds will be given to wrap up this video. On November 25th, 1980, a prize fight between Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran took place, in which Roberto Duran infamously quit fighting in the 8th round in a match that has been historically dubbed No Mas. No Mas is Spanish for no more.
He is working Duran effectively. And Duran must resort to pulling in. And he does.
Sometimes battles in the spiritual debate arena between theism and atheism can imitate battles in the professional world of sports. Atheistic secular Darwinian evolution starts with the premise and the assumption that there is no God, and thus violates the scientific method by eliminating a viable means for creation. This is what all their science revolves around, the assumption that there is no God. They then theorize how the universe and life upon Earth came to be. Thus, they replace God the Creator with nature the Creator, believing that nature, through spontaneous creation of matter, created the heavens and the earth, and that, over time, the elements rose and assembled themselves into self-sustaining, self-replicating life forms. This godless creation theory they try to pass off as science, but in reality, it's science fiction. Darwinian evolution goes against the known laws of science, namely the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Atheists often claim that the universe is not a closed system, so spontaneous creation could have occurred through the Big Bang, or that matter always existed and was compressed together densely in a singularity before the Big Bang explosion. Science has never witnessed spontaneous creation occur. To believe that even a grain of sand can be produced through spontaneous creation takes a leap of faith. But to believe that all the matter in the entire universe was produced through spontaneous creation takes an astounding leap of faith and logic. Spontaneous creation violates the first law of thermodynamics. To believe that there is a process by which abiogenesis can occur, which would be a requirement if God does not exist, also takes great leaps of faith and logic to believe. Science has not been able to demonstrate or observe life forming from non-life. Mixing chemical elements together and producing something like proteins is not creating life. This is merely evidence of a chemical reaction. Abiogenesis, which Darwinian evolutions do not like to talk about, violates the second law of thermodynamics. What atheistic Darwinian evolutions do not like to speak about is evidence of microevolution and exaggerated into macroevolution to make kinds change into other kinds of creatures over long periods of time. Again, this is in the realm of science fiction and not in the realm of verifiable, testable, observable science. We see microevolution, which is slight variations in animal kinds over short periods of times, and we do not see, even in a fossil record, big changes, one kind of animal becoming another kind of animal. In popular science fiction movies such as X-Men and Waterworld, we see spontaneous beneficial mutation. In the X-Men movies, mutants are born with beneficial mutations, but in the real world, this never has been observed to occur. In the movie Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner, The world is submerged underwater, and his character is a mutant human being with gill slits behind his ears who is able to breathe underwater. Again, we do not see this in the real world. Whales and dolphins have spent generation after generation in water, and they have not developed gills and could drown if they got caught in a net or had some other unfortunate underwater accident. While nature must follow the laws of nature, our supernatural God can break them. We have recorded evidence of God through the man, Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ, who walked among us, and he violated the first law of thermodynamics. When there were only 2 loaves of bread and 5 fish, he spontaneously created more of them to have enough fish and bread to feed 5,000 people. Yeshua Jesus violated the second law of thermodynamics when he miraculously healed lepers, the blind, and raised people from the dead, and raised himself from the grave.
There is no such thing as a kind, but speciation is in the macroevolution category, and speciation does happen. You accepted that speciation does happen. You accept that that is the definition of macroevolution. Therefore, you accept macroevolution happens.
Would you engage in bestiality? Because if you say there's no such thing as a kind, you would just have sexual relations with your dog.
Lujack is working Ra effectively with science, logic, and reason. Ra is frustrated and is losing his cool. He is resorting to bullying speech, presupposing what his opponent believes.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't get to the conclusion of how life started. Okay.
What? Ra has quit. Aron Ra has quit. There can be no other explanation. Animal kinds. Regardless of what Aron Ra and other atheist Darwinian evolutionists may believe and proclaim, there are various kinds of creatures in the animal kingdom. Animals are classified as mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians, insects, multi-legged creatures with more than 3 pairs of legs, worm-like crawling and swarming creatures, and other microbial creatures. The animal classifications contain many more kinds of animals, and there are various kinds of plant life in the plant kingdom. Genesis 1, verse 11 through 12. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit, according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields seed, according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself, according to its kind. Genesis 1, verse 20 through 21. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. Genesis 1, verse 24 through 27. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Mankind was made in the image of God with intelligence and intellect far above all the kinds of animals. Dominion over all the kinds of animals upon the earth was given to man. Roberto Duran, after his infamous No Mas fight, went on to redeem his boxing career in a remarkable comeback. Duran even went on to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, uno mas, one more time. Psalm 14 verse 1 and 53 verse 1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. All joking aside, let us hope and pray that Aron Ra has his scales removed from his eyes and his hard heart is softened, so that he may find redemption through Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ.